the run. Your boy didn't do his research, and apparently the Bane always spawns with an element, making the version I used straight up illegal. I only did this with 2 fights during the whole playthrough, and I went back and fixed them both, but here's me killing them with a shotgun.
That's crazy.
10 deaths and 1 messed up grenade jump later, we were off to our first possible run ender. And by first run ender, I mean the 3 horns car jump. We do have to get into cars a few times, but we will never drive them, so don't worry about this. I tried a few basic grenade jumps to get over the bridge, but they just weren't cutting it. I didn't want to have to do it, but we were going to have to use a forbidden cringe technique known as the double grenade. Perform this by throwing a grenade directly up, wait for it to apex, throw a grenade down, and with some tricky timing, the first grenade will hit you up, second grenade will hit you forward. Do be aware though, using this comes at a cost. The Borderlands gods disapprove of this technique and will punish you with stuff like this.
Alright,
after snagging the power core and totally killing enough bloodshots to avenge Reese, we were finally off to Sanctuary. As usual, I failed to satisfy Alyssa, so I let her take over for a little bit. She was kind enough to handle all the boring beginning Sanctuary tasks for me, but then we had a little bit of fun and customized our character. We decided on this outfit, it looked pretty cursed and it kind of fit the run. 3 hours in and we've made some decent progress and developed some new strategies. Here, you can see me performing a trick I like to call baby boosting. Baby creatures deal a lot of knockback but not a lot of damage, and if they help me out, I usually spare their life. Usually. Frostburn Canyon was uneventful, blah blah blah, talk to Lilith. Alright, time for the fun part. We're gonna go save our homeboy Roland. We needed a car again, but luckily we're strong enough to just move it by hand. Sadly, our car wasn't good enough, and we needed to go see Ellie for an upgrade. Alright, so we got to the dust, and I'm just gonna say this part took very, very long. On the bright side, the buzzards weren't as strong as I anticipated them to be. I actually didn't take any deaths while in the dust, but this part took like an hour and a half to find all the cars. I couldn't find the last coward until after it got dark, and I still had to run to Ellie, and then run to the Bloodshot stronghold too. After all that work making a car we couldn't even drive, it was time to face Badma. He was kind of a pushover.
Does that make sense? Like if you read that, would you understand what I mean by that? I just want to make sure.
With the custody battle over, I had new problems on my hands. Roland's jailbreak wasn't going to be easy, and I had a lot more bloodshots and a lot more loaders to fight through. While we were chasing down the warden to get Roland back, we seen a beautiful work of Borderlands nature. This psycho almost made it to heaven before we intervened. At first, the warden fight was going great, and then the warden fight was going bad.
Chats, I know some
and then it was going absolutely terrible. And then everything went great. Surprisingly, we killed the warden fast enough so that Roland didn't have to go to the gulag. After we saved Roland, we updated our look, and then we set out for Tundra Express. Now this part of the game went pretty boring, so I'll spare you the little details. But I did develop a new investment strategy. With all the deaths I had in this run, I needed a way to keep my money for grenades and ammo, because Overpower 10 makes everything ridiculously expensive. The strategy was to keep a bunch of weapons in my inventory, so that I could sell them if I needed the money, but not lose that money if I die. It's kind of like how people used to hoard Counter-Strike keys as a form of money laundering. Anyway, I wasn't sure how the Wilhelm fight was gonna go, but it actually went pretty easy. He was even kind enough to drop me a Logan's gun. With the plot twist power core installed, Lieutenant Davis was the first of many Sanctuary citizens to be goopified. I was sure that Sanctuary was going to be reduced to a pile of dust by the time Lilith was even able to teleport it. 15 minutes of lunar bombardment later, she finally got everyone but me to safety. Things were looking grim for you, boy. I was homeless, and I had to go through the fridge. I got styled on by this plague rat, and it kinda hit me hard in the self-confidence, not gonna lie. I managed to get through it though. I did think it was kinda funny that I wasn't fast enough to skip the elevator because its slight forward moving angle was faster than my movement speed. Just thought I'd throw that in there and show you. With the fridge finally behind us, it was time to start our journey through the Highlands. I thought I was being a big brain by preventing the exploder from destroying the bridge controls, but I later realized I was being a tiny brain. The crate mover could have gotten me over way faster. The spaghetti monster on the other side of the bridge was easy enough, but it was all downhill
yeah,
from
why
there.
is the desktop
The run
audio
from here
maxed
on
out
out
like that?
actually
Sorry.
became a deep descent into madness. These
How's
baby
that?
turrets,
Is that
for
better?
example, killed me like
Is
9
that an appropriate
times.
volume?
So Maya's ruin skill lets her slag enemies with phase
Is
lock,
that better?
but for some
Someone
reason
tell me
these
if it's
turrets
better.
aren't affected
Good?
by that.
Cool.
It just took me a while to realize it, but I was able to use a slag vein to slag them properly. And about 30 minutes later, we made it to Overlook, and it was time for us to defend our beacon. With us having the movement speed of a dead snail, defending the beacon felt more like a Balloons TD simulator. At some point during the fight, my brain stopped registering the sound from the gun, and I guess I just became used to it. I don't know if that was a good thing, but other than that, the fight was pretty easy. This constructor did catch me lacking though, and then it nuked me at spawn too, but that was just a minor setback. And just like that, we were no longer homeless. Up next on our to-do list was to go save Bloodwing. Fighting through everything here wasn't bad, and it was probably because it took like an hour to walk here, and this was far more entertaining. Things started going good, and we even made a little skag friend. Not even about to lie, our little homie carried us through this next fight. Shortly after though, our fun would be over, and it was time for pain. This fight went down easy at first, but alas, it was done illegally. This was the second fight where we used the non-elemental Bane, and with the help of Gibbs' save editor, I reverted the game back to this mission and took Bloodwing on properly. Alright, if anyone's wondering, I also used Gibbs' save editor to give me the gear for this run, and I did not sell the illegal Bane, I just dropped it on the ground. Alright, back to the run. Long story short, the whole process sucked. I had to go through the preserve again, this fight was stupid hard, I died like 30 times, and this was my first instance of actual anger. Bloodwing was just relentless with her attacks. On top of that, I had to resource manage the few skags that actually spawned for revives and kill skills, and dodging any attack from her required a well-timed grenade jump. I came close so many times, so I knew it was possible. For the most part, this fight was luck-based. She ended up landing on the ground in her last phase, and I was able to finally take her down. This was honestly the worst part of the run. Next on our recruitment list was Brick. Running to him took about an hour, but convincing him to join us was a walk in the park. Only if that park was filled with target circles though. With the squad finally reunited, they could all stand around Sanctuary while I did all the hard stuff. I'ma be real with you guys, I got really lucky during the Jack double fight. This phase lock right here would save the run in the oddest way possible. You see, the Jack double cannot be picked up with phase lock, and he is also programmed to run away from you. Mix that with our movement speed and it was obvious we didn't have a chance to catch him. But when I phase locked this loader, Maya's converge skill actually yanked the Jack double into this weird knockback limbo. I was able to get an easy kill and also hear some of his weird dialogue. He says some funny stuff like, I can run a mile in 2 minutes.
Dude, imagine if I
the rest
didn't
of
get
Overlook
jacked
was
like
pretty
that.
bad.
That'd be crazy.
Died a lot, took a long time, the usual.
Hello,
and on top
Piggy.
of all that,
Grandma's
Angel was
birthday
making
was
fun of
yesterday.
me.
Let's go. Happy birthday, Piggy.
Don't say or slowly. Don't say I'm going. I'm doing it. Thank you. On the bright side, at least Borderlands 2 is a totally fair and balanced game, with absolutely no glitches. Oh, I was not ready for this. Alright, that's it. You know what? I'm gonna write a bad review. Borderlands 2 is totally unplayable. Nothing is balanced, the gun noises are all unrealistic, the gameplay just feels really slow for some reason, and all the guns that drop are garbage. Psych, I love this game. Back on path, not much more was between us and the bunker. All it took was running through another target circle park, dealing with more invincible baby turrets, and cheesing this super constructor. And after all that, we had one more task before we went to the bunker. What's a Borderlands 2 playthrough if you don't do the most important side mission? That's right, we were gonna see if the band had what it took to snipe Face McShooty. Our accuracy, even after firing a few shots, was not good. I could have taken the class mod off just for the boosted accuracy, but I guess I'm just built different. Since this run is already cursed, here's the Bane being fired ramped up to 666% speed.
New Year's babies, here we come.
It only took about 1,000 bullets to get the headshot,
Hello,
but the Bane
bobbers.
can snipe Face McShooty. And it will be ranked appropriately on the Face McShooty tier list. I'll be using this same list for future runs as well. The large turrets protecting the bunker were absolutely nothing compared to their small turret counterparts, meaning everything that I've learned from my 2008 Monster Energy condoms is a lie. Killing the bunker was easier than I expected. I died a couple of times, but each fight was like really close, so I wasn't too worried about it. Control Core Angel was pretty average under this run's context, but I almost had an issue with getting back into the main area after dying. For some reason, you have to press this button to get back in after respawning, but the door just kind of closes on you before you can even make it through. Now I knew I could grenade jump through, and so did my homie Skybot. I just thought it was funny that this door required me to grenade jump to get through it. Just imagine the mental breakdown I would have had if this door ended the run. Despite our best efforts, Roland was still sent to the gulag, and we had a lot of running to do. You think running through the dust is bad? Well, imagine running through the friggin' Iridium Blight. The Blight friggin' sucked because I knew that the worst part of the game was coming up, yet I still had to run over and trigger the bridge blowing up scene.
You better go sleep right now, Piggy. You ain't missing much.
To go to the friggin'
These
cauldron.
videos are online.
I decided to get there and pick back up where I left off the next day because screw Sawtooth Cauldron. All my homies hate Sawtooth Cauldron. In between streams, I watched a speedrun of the Sawtooth Cauldron, and I had a plan to get in and out of here as quickly as possible. Step 1. Take out the guards. Step 2. Meet up with Double Agent Lil Lunatic. Step 3. Grenade jump like a boss. Step 4. Royally mess everything up. Step 5. Repent. Step 6. Repeat step 3. Step 7. Get the goods and head out. Believe it or not, it only took like an hour to get all of Sawtooth Cauldron done.
Oh,
which
Logan's
is pretty
gun?
fast, all things considered.
We didn't even killed Wilhelm yet. We just got to the end of the line.
So far away. Our second run through the Iridium Blight was terrible, just like the first one.
We should set something up, though.
The boneyard, and I had a strategy planned out in advance. I knew I needed a car, so the first thing I did was push the dang thing all the way to the pipeline. I tried a trick where I would bounce on it as I pushed it, and it kinda worked,
where
but
when
I don't
I'm
think
sleeping,
it helped much. The car was in position now, and I just needed to run to all the pumping stations. It took me a while to hit all the stations, but I had a few skags to baby boost me along the way. It also took me a while to figure out how to blow the pipe open without actually driving the car. But
we should set something up where you guys can do like sound redeems.
You can just get in the car
when I'm
and
sleeping,
it'll trigger the explosion.
And just say the most obscure loud shit.
Saturn is a totally optional boss, and a lot of people run right past him. However, we can't do that for obvious reasons, so we had to take him out.
Thank you, SpongeBob. I
My
appreciate
ammo
you,
when
homie.
this fight started was pretty much full, but we still ran out. We were so close to
just
the
make
kill,
like a
but in the end, he caught us last.
500 bits.
We were too close to victory to give up.
Text-to-speech or something.
So I stocked up on ammo and went for the safety shed again. I didn't care how many bullets it took. We had some Tims to scuff and a challenge run to complete.
Deadass.
We managed to get the kill this time around with about a clip left, and the badass constructor on the bridge was easily taken out from afar. The third run through the Iridium Blight wasn't bad, but that's only because I knew it was going to be my last. This last part of the run
I am very excited, Bodie.
Besides the bird.
If Subathon lasts long enough, we're going to be playing it on launch.
Grenade jump first try, and the turrets that Mordo has to take out can respawn for some dumb reason. They're big and protected, so maybe those condoms weren't wrong after all. But you can see it here that dodging their onslaught at my speed was terrible.
I'm dodging IRL
it gets
in
worse
the video.
though, so don't worry. Because next, I beat Jack first try, and the Warrior after 2 tries. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Oh yeah, I forgot the part where my recording and stream both stopped, so I had no friggin' proof. Dude, it was so friggin' embarrassing too. I shotgunned a monster and everything. I was so hyped. Death counter reads what I know in my heart.
Real footage of me beating the game and no footage.
So that's not going to change anymore. Anyway, Gibbs' save editor came in clutch once again. I was able to reset the Jack fight. This time around though, was a lot harder. Jack took me out like 4 or 5 times before I finished him off again, but that was fine. Honestly, commentary can't grasp how angry this part made me, so I'm just going to let some raw audio go through. What is that?
Said the guy with the typo. Shot the troll hole, bro. You know, I might forget the editing in this video.
Okay, this is our chance to go get
I'll never forget the troll hole.
Oh my god, not the hole! Not the hole! Oh no! Again with the fucking hole! Oh, no. No lava. No lava. And we're gonna dive bomb me. That Crystalix cooperating.
You look 22. I appreciate that, Piggy.
Oh,
I feel 22.
As soon as I say that, he puts me in the hole. He puts me in the f***ing hole as soon as I say it. Oh my god! Okay, okay. Think. How much time? 15 seconds. Get on this rock. Watch for Crystallis troll in the hole. Oh, fuck. Hole troll! Hole troll. After all these hardships, after all of these deaths, after all 27 hours of this run so far, the warrior finally accepted his fate. Which means,
yo, are you the same SpongeBob from
you
YouTube?
can beat Borderlands 2 with only the Bane. Like I said before, this run in all took a little over 27 hours spanned out over 7 different days. It was a long journey, and I'm glad that it's finally over. The Bane stats are definitely decent, so the only setback this run was the horrible movement speed. I could mention the screaming as well, but that was more of an annoyance rather than an actual performance variable. That might just be me though, I don't know, I'm pretty good at going brain dead. But if the Bane didn't have the movement speed impairment, then I bet I would see a lot more people use it unironically because it's a decent SMG. But it did get me through the whole game though, so I would say this gun is OP10 viable, believe it or not. I recently went back to see if you could get the Bane with the Bane, and during that adventure, I ended up getting another pearl from this tubby spider ant. And this boner got squished and made a wet noise. Anyway, I did manage to get the Bane with the Bane, and decided that I had my piece with this run. This is my first video, and it took a while to make. I put a lot of effort into this, so any feedback would be great. You could do that the simple way, or the specific way. And if I hit 100 subscribers, I'll even do a face reveal. I have another challenge run video in the works, but I'm still open to hear your picks for what gun I should try this challenge with next. It's also pretty obvious, but I did stream this run on Twitch, and I'll do the same for future runs, so maybe come and say hi. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope to see you next time. Until then,
I can't believe beat you up guy killed him, bro.
You ever play that one Borderlands 2 Space DLC and ask yourself, how could I make this any worse? Odds are, you probably aren't a masochist, so maybe it's just me. But today's challenge is going to be long, hard, and full of innuendos. Today's question is, can you beat Borderlands the pre-sequel with only the probe? The rules are simple. We're playing on UVHM to maximize the difficulty. I can use any Vault Hunter and any of their skills, with discretion of course, so I don't just avoid the challenge entirely. No bar allowed, and my gear shown here. I use this stuff for the whole run, but the general rule
When's the next Smash Ultimate stream?
Use unique gear except for the class mod. Alright, so we start our run, and
when I magically have a working capture card.
Fight the first 2 bosses. I thought
out of nowhere.
Gibbs save editor to give us one, but I decided that wouldn't be legit, and
that happened to also be
fine. At first,
magically set up to my desk
to get me through this first part with all of the melee damage she has, but I later decided being able to hold double the penetrating power would be better for me in the long run. Also, Nisha kind of has a melee build that would do the job fine. First off, we had to save Jack, and it was actually easier than I anticipated.
No, obnoxious, they do not.
The Unforgiven skill makes every enemy that was shot during Showdown explode when Showdown is over.
Because that'd be too easy.
Smacking their cheeks also made them explode.
Because then I'd have to just remove anything that's in a video for subathons, because these are what I use for like every sleep.
We were going to rely on 2 things. Whipping, of course, and also stomping. Ground slams weren't as helpful.
I really put that picture of Luigi in the video.
Normal here, but it would come in handy later. So Flame Knuckle shows up.
I really did that, eh?
This run not possible because I did not expect to win this fight. But it turns out he deals like no damage.
We're gonna go crazy. I hope so.
Of this fight, he was mostly just focused on Jack, who was pretty much
I am
doing
praying that
nothing
it's
anyway.
good.
So it was just 10 straight minutes of whipping and stomping. His second phase was a little bit tougher though. I will admit I did try launching him into space, but the game was too smart for that. The main struggle with this fight was the fire damage over time he could inflict. If I was ignited, it was certain death for me. I died a few more times during this fight, but I managed to take him out by using Jack as a distraction. And it turns out, he wasn't happy to see me. He just had a nukem in his pocket. Anyway, Jack did some curse stuff, I was yeeted at the moon in some fancy
Borderlands 2 with only the
we met the
Veritas?
bestower of the probe. But our
that'd be
domination
easy.
days weren't over yet. We had one more client, boss that needed punishment. Getting to
I feel like the
deadlift
Veritas'
wasn't
gimmick
the worst
isn't
thing,
like
but it was definitely a little annoying. But when
so
it came
bad
to
that it's
actually
bad,
fighting
you know?
him, it was terrible. His attacks were very strong, and he wouldn't stop moving, so I had to lure him away from his beloved jump pads. I didn't think he would actually chase me down there.
Kind of snack
but
you
I just
got?
had to
Chips
be
and French
patient.
onion
He
dip?
eventually came, and his
Eating the rest of the
torture
little tiny chips out of the bag
After
now.
10 minutes of precision slamming, he finally perished.
It's been going
I could
great,
finally
kitty
go
cat.
get my trophy.
It's been going
I
great.
managed to rob him for everything he owned, but I also forgot the Moonzoomy key, so I felt kind of dumb after that. But everything was going great. We finally got our probe, Nurse Nina showed us how to use it on her lucky volunteer, and we respect our skill points so we could double fist our new weapon. The next target on our list was Red Belly, and it was going to take some work to get to him. So the probe's initial purpose was to aggravate some Kragans instead of killing
Me
them.
45
So the
minutes
damage
into
on the
sleep
gun
time.
is extremely low.
Food.
For reference, one clip from the probe equaled about one bullet from a normal Maliwan pistol with matching parts, but it was still able to handle most mob enemies pretty well. Baddie enemies and bosses were a totally different story though. I would expend all my ammo prematurely, and Nisha doesn't have any ammo regen abilities that would be effective enough to keep us from running out frequently, and in some cases, I would resort to using my whip to finish them off. After being attacked by a swarm of numbers, we finally infiltrated Red Belly's base. This part of the run was the turning point from causing pain to receiving pain. The big enemies leading up to
I
Red
just threw a
Belly
nade
messed
at
me
those
up a
guys
lot.
and allowed
The
it.
first one
That's
just let me
crazy.
kill him. I don't know if he ran out of ammo or was just into it, but we would meet again. We fought off a wave of baby scavs and their babysitter too, and found ourselves in a pretty spooky part of the run. You guys probably think Pyramid Head is scary, but Cylinder Head was my worst nightmare. Those guys hit like a brick, and I was going to need a better probe to win this fight. Save
Did I just call a Red Belly Pyramid Head?
Would come in handy a few times during this run.
Is that what I did there?
One because
I can't hear it right now. Is that what I did?
Like so I fought
That's
through
funny.
everyone again, and the corrosive one also sucked. I tried a few times and I realized I needed some fire damage. So I fight through everyone again just to accidentally fire a torpedo gun, reset, and fight through everyone
shooting
time
the torpedo.
just to get absolutely dominated by Red Belly. Belly was the main problem. He would be able to take me down a health gate in a single hit, and if he was lucky enough to set me on fire with that hit, I would have very little chance of surviving through it. I would have to use Showdown, shoot him as much as possible because the probe actually heals you slightly based on damage you do, and pray that it was enough to survive all of the burn damage. Even with the cheese strat that I'm doing right here, it took a lot of time and patience to get through all of this.
You know, sometimes I wish I was bad at the game again, so runs felt harder.
Rid of him. Back at Concordia, the Merif decided that he did want to partake in some of our services. It was apparent upon first glance that the
Like, for example,
fetish, though.
the elephant gun run I think is coming up.
We told him that wasn't our forte, so Jack had to put him down. Ew. Very nasty. Ooh, spaghetti. Alright,
If I did that one today,
changed up our look, did the funny calculator thing, stole a stingray, crashed the game, and then we met up with Ulrich.
Half the
That
death.
was probably the cringiest joke you've ever heard, so sorry about that. But anyway, we ran around the map, touching knobs and pushing buttons for a while so that we could get on the bosun's ship. All of that was easy, but it was pretty hard when we got inside. The fights in here were pretty tough, and I died a couple of times because of this mugger, and I felt true humiliation when I couldn't even get a kill on this Lil Scab for a second wind. This clip right here really shows how annoying it is to try and kill with this gun. I could not imagine trying to do this challenge without being able to dual wield these pistols. This challenge may have been hard, but in all honesty though, the game itself is well balanced, and just like Borderlands 2, has absolutely no glitches.
What?
Anyway, the booster seat baby man was in for a fight, and so was I. Just like the baby man he is, the bosun relied on others to feed him, so taking out his turrets was the first thing that we needed to do. The turrets themselves were moderately beefy, so it just took time. But with no more turrets to suckle on, this fight was like taking candy from a baby. But instead of it being a baby, it was a grown man dating his own computer. We had our AI, and now it's time to build some robots. At first I thought I met a bunch of cute little Torque friends, but then they did the most sus thing I've ever seen. Like, I know this run was supposed to have a bunch of funny innuendos and stuff, but these Torques took it way too far in my opinion. What kind of synchronized f***ing like nut bust was that? Gross, dude. Oh, y'all motherfuckers nasty. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to do it to you. Rest of this joint was kind of boring. I mean, this is the pre-sequel, so I guess here's a funny gameplay clip. Credit for that. Oh, you just vibing? You good? You gonna let me put the probe in? You gonna let me do it? Oh, you gonna let me put it in? Doink.
I'm not leaving until chip came. I ate them all. They weren't even good chips. They were just like the crumbly bits at the bottom of the bag.
From here on out, it got pretty tough.
I want orange juice though. You want orange juice, Cam?
Enemies in the robot factory, and
I'm gonna drink this orange juice. Go brush my teeth.
By a couple of them. The turret calibration segment was annoying as usual, so that sucked. My game crashed shortly after, so that sucked. And then I had to redo the turret calibration, so you know, that sucked. Alright, that's enough pre-sequel.
Imagine he does the chip cam while we gone.
Boss fight. Felicity was a little angry about her new job, so we had to teach her a lesson. This was probably one of the toughest fights so far. She was pretty tanky, and she was also able to create repair surveyors. The surveyors themselves weren't that much of a threat, but I was on track to run out of ammo quick. During my second attempt, I ended up opening the last of the ammo crates in the arena, and the fight was really close. Alright, we're going in after this. I might have f***ed up. No. 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 No.
Why'd you do? Oh, let's go.
You can argue that I relied on melee for that kill, but if I didn't open half the ammo crates in my first attempt, I would have had plenty of places to get ammo, so cut me some slack. I'm playing the pre-sequel for Pete's sake. We made it to Helios, and for some reason the doll troops weren't mad at us. That was until Claptrap decided to bone the whole space station though. They got real angry about that, so we had no choice but to fight. Okay, I think it's time I insert some more pre-sequel bad jokes. It's been like 2 minutes, so I think we're due for some. Bro, why did they take away the low gravity in this part? Oh, it's so boring. I want to jump. Bro, do we really need to get this guy's picture of his kid for him, dude? What the heck even is this writing? Yo, did they really bring back rabbit stalkers for this one part of the game? Oh my god, Gearbox. I don't want the crappy loot. Just hurry up. Jeez, man. Okay, dude. Oh, come on, dude. Why is this door so slow? Dude, there's a force field behind the door? Why? Why is this a thing? Oh, bruh. Dude, why is there a force field opening like this, dude? It's a force field. Who even made this friggin' game? Okay, that should hit the quota. Anyway, this bodybuilder took me out and is a real homie right after and just let me pass anyway. This guy was the closest thing I had to a friend all run. The brave lad jumped in like the buff anime protagonist he is and started chopping up this Torque queen with his katana. Sadly, our homie's plot armor wasn't strong enough to take on the Torque. We will never forget you, buff doll homie. Last thing we had to do here was take out this guy, which was easy, just time consuming, cause we're pretty much using a Nerf Maverick to fight things. We ended up saving everyone, then we decided we didn't need the Harry Potter lookalike and his goons, so we murdered him. All jokes aside, this part of the game is usually always enjoyable for me. There are a lot of jump pads and flying and stuff, and falling in the void is more funny than annoying here, so it's actually kind of vibing. I kind of blew right through this area too because there wasn't really any mandatory fights. This level of difficulty wouldn't last long, however. Let me show you why I almost lost this run. Honestly. No! Yeah, guys, that shield regen is friggin' busted. Every time I was close, she denied my satisfaction. Also, who put the new use station behind this electric field? Someone please tell me. Okay, time for some strategy talk. So it was obvious that this fight was going to be tough. So we had to save quit farm for some parts that would hit the spot just right, which is basically shock element and a Jacob's grip. This combination would give us the best damage per shot. After many deaths, I was on track to beating her. At the time I thought that staying far away and letting her aggro on Jack would stop her constant shield regen move, but in reality there is a good chance that she just has a limited use of that move. So the fight got easier, I guess, but there's still a lot of built-up frustration in this fight that I ended up releasing here.
Oh, little beta, little baby. Oh, little baby. Oh no. Oh no, you can't do nothing. You can't regen no more shield, little baby. I don't got any more little rockets. Oh no.
Anyway, Sarpedon wanted to go for round 2, and this time, she didn't even last half as long. We finished her off, and Jack was waiting ready for the money shot. It was finally
Alright,
time
good
to
night,
disable the
gamers.
eyeball laser, which was simple. We just had to use our big injector on it. I think we injected a little too much though, because everything got a little weird. Anyway, Jack sent us on our final mission to finally beat this game. On the way in, we came across this injured soldier, and I decided to let him go because I kind of felt bad that my man's was level 0. And we also needed to conserve ammo for the next boss. RK5 or whatever was actually kind of annoying. The two main problems with this fight were lack of ammo and actually landing shots. Molly 1 pistols in general have really low shot speed, and with Walmart Bunker being so far away and moving at pretty high speeds, I had to aim ahead of him in order to land any shots at all. Mix this with the limited ammo crates and the fact that Showdown doesn't account for the distance, and you get a whole lot of wasted shots. Things only get worse though, because I won the fight and beat the game. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Why does that sound familiar? Oh yeah, my footage cut out right at the end of the run, just like last time. How does this happen twice? I redid the fights, but I didn't have footage for this one still for some reason, so I fought Bootleg Bunker again for you guys. If you want a teaser for my next challenge run though, just look at the death counter. Make sure to subscribe to see what monstrous idea caused this pain. Alright, we finally made it to the last boss, and for the peeps that are wondering about the pregnant alien boss, I'm sorry, you guys are getting kink shamed today. The Sentinel fight was actually really long. The whole fight has like 7 phases, and to give you an idea on how long it took, I grabbed this Mox Tail for a little bit of extra gun damage, and it's supposed to last 30 minutes. We made it to the arena with about 28 minutes left, and the long grind started. Like I said before, this fight took a while, but to be honest with you, it wasn't the hardest thing in the world. That title is reserved for me when I finally get to stop playing the pre-sequel. Okay, let's wrap things up. All jokes aside, I actually enjoyed this fight, because everything in this fight was skill-based. Every move that the Sentinel threw out was dodgeable with some sort of precise movement, and I think the pre-sequel should get some props for that, because in Borderlands 2, some enemies are just straight up undodgeable. I think we're going to end this fight by showing you guys a couple of clips from the battle and the finishing blow. The fight itself was probably a full 30 minutes, but I'll keep it short. They messed up.
Not that much. Release 5 naked people.
Oh,
We
come
can
on.
all work together.
Oh my god. Oh no, that is not good. Dude, you need to perish like now. You need to perish like now. No, please. Let's go. No barf. No barf, gang. Hashtag boss Mel. I am glad to say, you can beat Borderlands as a pre-sequel with only the probe. Alright guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this run. If you guys have any feedback, I'm always open to suggestions, so please let me know what you think in the comments below. And remember, 1 like equals 1 torque sent to horny jail. I also want to thank you guys for all the support. I definitely did not expect to hit 100 subs off my first video, and as promised, I'll be doing a face reveal video soon. And if you guys have any questions, post them below and I'll answer them then. Anyway, if you haven't seen my first video, you can check it out here, and until next time, breathe easy homies. Here. Everything was going kinda fine until this angelic guard from hell popped up. And I'm no English teacher, but I'm pretty sure that's an oxymoron. Anyway, the loader alone was already obnoxious, but I also had to deal with the fucking Terramorphous wannabe heads with the undodgeable whip arm attack. My last bit of luck got me through this fight. It was distracted by some loaders and I was able to slag it long enough to kill him from a safe distance. Overlook went as expected. I got there, placed the beacon, befriended the wounded loaders, started putting them back together, met their mother, had an argument with their mother, committed mechanical genocide, and went home. Back at Sanctuary, our boy Michael gave us one last chance at playing the game like a normal human being. And boy, I wish I took his offer, because the preserve was hell. All the hardest enemies for the elephant gun to kill were here. Stalkers, loaders, skags, the f***ing bird! The loaders were the first obstacle. Apparently getting both of your arms shot off isn't considered a wound. I'm pretty sure all 5 of these loaders right here were missing at least 1 limb, but it just didn't register. So we just had to do it the old-fashioned way and just murder them all. Stalkers were really annoying because A, they're stalkers, and B, they're stalkers. I just feel like trying to land crits on them is so awkward because they move really quick and just turn fucking invisible. The ultimate loader was close to being a run ender. If I can't crit something, I pretty much have no damage. And once you shoot the arms off this guy, it no longer has crit spots. The only reason I was able to take it down is because it didn't have health regen like most normal mobs do. It took a while, but it was killable. Skags are probably the easiest of all the enemies here, but I got pretty unlucky with the rabid spawns. Okay. Ah! Critting skags isn't always easy, so I resorted to grouping them up and trying to bore them. I managed to kill enough to get the door open, and it was time for the Bloodwing fight. Right now, it probably seems like getting through the preserve doesn't seem as bad as I made it sound. But imagine doing all that 5 f***ing times. Oh my fucking gosh, man. Why the f*** did the game crash so many fucking times? On top of all those crashes, Mordecai decided not to help and slag the stupid fucking skags, so second wins weren't even an option. I was in the preserve for 7.5 fucking hours. My guy, look at my deaths. You know how many I walked in with? This fucking many. Oh my fucking gosh, man. Okay. Alright, I was holding that in for about 2 months, so that felt pretty good to let out. Anyway, like I said, Mordecai wouldn't slag the skags for some reason, so I had to devise a new strategy because Bloodwing's attacks are just plain out undodgeable 99% of the time. Step 1 of the plan was to use our secret weapon, which was this 12-year-old Monster Energy sniper shot. I was saving it for a while, but I couldn't think of a better time to use it than this challenge. Step 2 of the plan was to get the skags out of my way. They respawn if they're all killed off, so instead I lured them up the elevator because they aren't able to jump back down for some reason, leaving the arena to just me and the bird. Step 3 was to carefully play peekaboo with Bloodwing. The spot you're seeing right here is safe unless Bloodwing lands on the ground or does her breath attack if she flies in at the right angle. After a few tries using this strat, we finally took her down. No. Bloodwing, no. Oh my. Oh.
Okay.
Oh my god. Oh.
how did that f***ing work? Good job trying to keep still. My fingertips are numb, bro. You guys. No amount of emotional turmoil was going to make me give up on this run. I've suffered too much to quit now, so we were off to recruit Brick, which went very smoothly actually. For the most part, I was able to relax and watch some World Star hip-hop type stuff go down. Opportunity was up after that, and it went pretty bad. The Jack Doppelganger should have been an easy assassination mission, but everything went terrible. He is pretty tanky and tries to run away from you. On top of that, the engineers had a thin piece of metal that somehow blocked crits. Sometimes I'd be able to shoot them off, but it felt kinda random and luck-based. Also, there's this one ion loader who was a master at strategic positioning because his actions caused like 10 of my deaths. But like most mini-bosses that give me a hard time, I ended up one-shotting him. On the way to bunker, I realized I forgot to take the Face McShooty mission like a heathen, and I found this really dumb death spot. The path to bunker was an uphill battle. I don't know where to start, but these guys were just plain out cheating. The combination of jet loaders, super surveyors, and constructors all made this task feel impossible. After slowly taking out all the bots, I had to quickly dispatch the constructor before it made more. The best way to do this was to use his defense turret as bore fodder. It was important that I did not slag the turret as to keep it alive so I could keep the extra bore damage while I stacked up critical ascension. Alright, before we talk about them, let's talk about this. And of course, let's not forget about this. Yeah, I fought those stupid f***ing bots again. I was a big idiot, didn't even see that the f***ing door was open, so I could've just ran past the whole time. But yeah, that took up another fraction of my life. Anyway, back to them. Long story short, baby turret's OP. If anything was going to end the run, it was going to be these heathens right here. Here's what makes these things so f***ing annoying. Number 1, no crisp spot. Number 2, their health regen is busted and my DPS wasn't even keeping up. And number 3, they're immune to most types of slag. These things can't be slagged with kunai or even take damage from my slag grenade. I tried to use a loader as bore fodder, but that just wasn't working. I also tried grenade jumping past them, but they were required kills to progress, so we were gonna have to do some cringe type stuff. I really don't like using shields, grenades, or relics that have gimmicks, but I had to pull out a grenade that could slag with these miniature raid bosses. A simple transfusion grenade did the trick, and after 3 hours of trying, they finally died. Oh. Alright, this place wasn't as bad as the preserve, but I did rack up like 80 deaths just trying to get to the friggin' bunker. Anyway, the super toaster on top of the mountain wasn't bad, it was mostly just this ultimate loader that was making the fight hard. But the critical ascension makes quick work of constructors, so nothing too painful. Speaking of pain, it was time to see if the elephant gun could snipe Face McShooty. The main issue wasn't the lack of scope, but more a lack of natural accuracy. Even with the accuracy boost from my skills, it still took about 15 shots before I landed the crit. Nonetheless, the elephant gun can snipe Face McShooty, so it will go on the top rank of the tier list. I knew the bunker fight was going to be tough. Yeah, the big turrets had crit spots, so that was in my favor. But was I going to have enough firepower to take on the... Oh yeah. I find it really funny that all those big turrets and the big defense bot were like super easy to take out, and then you have ion loaders who won't even let you in their bubble if you're down. Like for real though, whose idea was it to make it so you just start climbing the bubble? Who? Please, someone please tell me. On top of those fuckers, we also had more invincible baby turrets, but now they had undodgeable laser beams, which sadly means I had to bust out the cringe grenade again, which made me feel like a cheater even though I wasn't cheating. We managed to make it out alive with a little over 400 deaths on the board, and I practically dodged a bullet because my game crashed as soon as I made it back to Sanctuary. TBH, I wasn't hating the idea of going to Sawtooth Cauldron. After all, I've been fighting robots who resist normal bullets for the longest time, and squishy bandits seem to be a lot easier to handle. The ambush commanders weren't bad either because their heads are pretty big and deception can distract them pretty easily. I did get pooped on by mortar though. The buzzards probably would have went perfectly if it wasn't for this goon, but I think he tried to fight a buzzard and just flew away anyway, so he wasn't an issue for long. You could get through this next part of the game pretty quick usually. I don't think there is a single mandatory kill in all of the Arid Nexus, which is a good thing because our boy Saturn can't be slagged and doesn't have a crit spot. But even with running right past everyone, I managed to die right before picking up the info we needed. The final mission was upon us, and I was ready to end this. But the game would not make it so easy though. Taking out loaders with Claptrap was fine, but the combo of Super Surveyors took forever to kill. Eventually I managed to confuse them really close to each other, and Boar took it from there. Hero's Pass was going fine, until I met up with my sworn enemy, Baby Turret. On top of having stupid health regen, no crit spot, and being hard to slag, they are also completely immune to molten lava, I guess. One last time I had to pull out the cringe grenade, cause not even Brick and his infinite hammer supply could take it out. With the turret dead, the path was clear. It was time for the big fight. Jack was our first opponent, and he was definitely a tough one. The fight was more intense than a 1v1 on Rust against the guy that said rude things about your mom on Xbox Live.
Hey kiddo, Jack here, president of Hyperion.
He had health regen, which made this fight last a while. He was also using a lot of crazy movement tech that I've never seen before. I managed to hone in on his one weakness, that being his big shootable face, and went on to the final fight with the warrior, which went a little something like this. With the stakes raised, I finally managed to take out the warrior. Which means, you can beat Borderlands 2 with only the elephant gun. With the game finally beat, we did what anyone would do after a run like this. Celebrate with a monster shotgun, and then start a DLC. That's right homies, you're getting some bonus content. Alright, I'll keep this short. So when I do these challenges, I usually like to see if the weapon I'm using can farm itself, and if it comes from a DLC, I try to beat that DLC as well. The DLC started out as normal. Our boy Hammerlock was even repping an elephant gun too. His shot explosive rounds though, so that was pretty weird. So on top of being everybody's least liked DLC, it was also nearly impossible. Landing any type of crit, which may I remind you, is our only source of damage, was just impossible on these guys. Roll the footage.
World revealed. Weakness is now known to me. Time to go to work. Deceive you. An illusion fools you all. I move for the kill.
Ironically, the most efficient way of killing these guys was actually just to get them to level up to demon form. That gets rid of their impenetrable wooden mask. 2 hours and 30 deaths into this DLC, the last of the hunters got confused, and taking them out got 100 times easier. boat working out. Egg. Okay, let's go.
With all the eggs procured, it was finally time to take out Arizona. And she was a pretty tough boss to figure out. So basically, her crit spots can disappear if they're shot too much, and if not fought properly, she can still have half her health left with no way to crit her. And with the amount of health she has, the fight from there is practically impossible. But if you play your cards right and slag her in deception, she can be killed with 3 precise shots. 5 kills and 3 hours of getting stick bugged later, we managed to farm an elephant gun. After beating Thermotage in a game of tetherball, saving Claptrap was up next. This took a while because I couldn't land any crits, so I relied on boar to get kills. I was doing this for a long time, long enough for the friendly worshippers to respawn. After this, the only mandatory fights for the rest of the game were Poop Spike and these elite savages. Both weren't bad because they could actually be critted, but Jackenstein was a straight up shit show. Every one of this guy's attacks is undodgeable. Mix that with the amount of ion loaders he spawns, you get a whole lot of pain. I had 2 options. Pull out the cringe transfusion grenade again for some type of healing, or use this cheese spot I knew about. After 80 attempts in this fight and 600 deaths total over the run, I chose the latter. So if anyone was wondering, you can beat Sir Hammerlock's big game hunt with only the elephant gun. Barely. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate all the kind words I've been getting in the comments. Leaving comments like that and liking the video really helps motivate me to keep doing these runs. And if you guys want to see me suffer some more, consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you really want to see me suffer some more and you're watching this shortly after release, I'm live on Twitch right now starting my next challenge run. So come stop by if you want. But until next time, breathe easy, homies. Captain Blade was the most feared pirate on Pandora long, long ago. Through treasure hunting missions, we can find the gear he used to become so infamous. Today we ask ourselves, can you beat Borderlands 2 as Captain Blade? Now obviously, Captain Blade isn't a playable character in Borderlands 2, but his gear scattered throughout the pirate DLC can make us pretty close to the real thing. And all of these items are cursed and provide some type of negative effect on us. To list them off real quick, the rapier makes getting punched hurt more, the orphan maker just plain out hurts to shoot, the manly man shield makes elemental damage hurt more, the auto idol makes fight for your life shorter, and the midnight star ejects child grenades towards the player. Now they do have benefits, but some are just not that helpful. The rapier is the best melee weapon in the game, but since we're on OP10, melee isn't really viable, especially on a gunzerker. The Manly Man Shield adds 40% explosive damage to our melee attacks, but it's also quite useless. The Auto Idol returns health upon kill, but it's only like 8%, and if the Orphan Maker is our main source of damage, it pretty much cancels it out for that one shot. And the Orphan Maker's damage output is pretty good, so we have that going for us. And the Midnight Star has... Wait, what does the Midnight Star have? Increased damage and reduced child grenade count. Huh. Anyway, we're also going to be using a legendary Hoarder class mod to keep on theme with pirate stuff, and it helps us gunzerk more, so all curses can be active at once. Alright, really quick on the rules. Geared OP10 challenges are my style, so that's how we're going to go about it. All skills are allowed, with discretion as to not avoid the challenge. No bar. And lastly, no left-handing the Orphan Maker. The reason for that last rule is because the self-damage doesn't trigger when left-handing, which would defeat the purpose of the run, and mom ain't raised no game exploiting bitch. Okay, on to the run. First thing I did was choose my skills. I chose Asbestos to counteract the Manly Man shield, and because of the cool gas mask icon. I also picked up Fistful of Hurt and Double Your Fun. I don't play the Gunzerker too often, so the rest of my build was trash. I really want to go back in time and slap myself for not grabbing no kill like overkill. Most of the beginning of the run was spent learning how not to die, and how to properly go about fights. It was immediately apparent that my fight for your lifetime was short, and 9% slag chance is absolutely infuriating.
Also, I literally never played the Gunzerker on PC before, so I had to get used to a lot of dumb shit, like the inconceivable glitch where your guns don't auto-reload after they're empty. I really hate that one. And most importantly, I had to learn the shot pattern of the Orphan Maker. Usually this gun is pretty good, but the Jacob stock makes the accuracy recovery extremely low. 7 quick and brutal deaths in, I realized I forgot to turn my bar off, so we had to restart. Luckily I caught it early. I'd probably need a straitjacket if it happened any later. This time around, I decided to try and use some grenades, and well, that didn't go too great. I also tested how much self-damage the Orphan Maker does. Usually Borderlands gameplay goes, I shoot them and they die. But this time around, it went, I shoot them and we die. So if I don't have any shield, I'm practically not allowed to shoot my gun. I didn't fully learn this lesson until deep into this run though. Making my way to Boom Boom, I tried the Midnight Star again, and just like before, it was actually worthless. So to add to the challenge, I decided that the grenade mod wasn't allowed to come off. So grenade jumps were out of the question. Boom Boom was ready to blow, and I was ready to go. Psych, I got pooped on. Boom, as always, gave me a little bit of trouble before I got lucky and took him out. Boom, on the other hand, killed me many times. I was constantly seeing the blue respawn screen, so I decided to put my new blue light glasses on. Alyssa got them for me recently and said they were for when I was bad at Borderlands. Honestly, best gift ever. Anyway, Boom had too much health regen for my DPS to handle, mainly because I had to take long pauses so my guns didn't kill me. 38 deaths in, I got desperate and found something that will change my challenge runs forever.
What? I didn't know I could do this. Dude, I wish I would've known this from my last run.
The new strat of getting within neck snapping range worked great. I just lined the psychos up so they couldn't hurt me and started going to town. Also, here's a slagged armored enemy taking nothing but critical hits by this corrosive rapier, and it's doing nothing. This is just for reference on how little damage this thing does. Good thing we had the Orphan Maker though, because this wouldn't have been possible without it. After getting misted by my first monster shotgun of the run, we were off to fight Flint. You can't see it, but the word fight has quotations around it in my script. It also says something about foreshadowing, but that word has too many syllables for me to understand. A common problem I would face in this run is getting shot down to low health right before I tried to shoot the Orphan Maker, making me die. Another common problem was thinking the Midnight Star would actually work this time around. All these issues were building up, and day one of this challenge was really breaking me. I've never been closer to giving up than I was during the Flint fight. The health regen mixed with me always taking damage from other people made this fight impossible. I had one last idea before I was going to throw in the towel. Earlier in the run, I said something I was totally wrong about.
10. Melee Sal on OP10 don't exist. Okay.
Yeah, you seen that right. In one last desperate attempt to best Flint, I managed to find the cheesiest cheese ever. I call it Flint locking. Knocking him out of his arena makes him really confused, and he won't try to attack you anymore. And if you try to knock him into the water, this happens.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I can feel my leg.
We might have done Flint bolder than Lenny from Of Mice and Men, but he would have the last laugh after tricking me into thinking I got a legendary and jumping into the cold water below. This point of the run was both the victory and a mental health boost. The amount of laughing that occurred from everything that just happened really helped. After that whole fiasco, we had to get the power core for Sanctuary and kill 20 bandits for Reese like the good Vault Hunter we are. And Sanctuary, as always, was no challenge for obvious reasons, so let's get to Frostburn Canyon. Running past every enemy in this place is always satisfying, I always wished that the game had some type of bee hopping mechanic that would let you keep momentum if you time your jumps good. Like imagine if you grenade boosted for speed, and then you could just keep the momentum. That would be dope. Okay, I'm getting a little off track. Anyway, I tried doing the spike jump skip for the first time ever, and I nailed it, making my success rate 100%. Get flexed on. And fighting through the psychos here wasn't bad. Melee Sal even worked for a little bit. This might be common knowledge, but if you don't want Lilith getting in your way, I found that fighting on the bridge makes things a lot easier. Up next, we were supposed to get bandit car pieces, which I did, I just forgot to hit record. And when I tried to get the short clips of it from my Twitch VOD, the VOD was just gone, I guess? Which sucks because I got this pearl from a tubby, I just don't have the clip of it. Anyway, here's a fun fact. The saw blades from Bandit Technicals count as melee damage. So if you have a melee boosting skill or any type of gear that boosts melee damage, they take effect here. You can see that my saw blades are doing bonus explosive damage, and that's from the Manly Man shield. You could try this with the Love Thumper shield and it gets pretty crazy. Anyway, back to the run. Bad Ma was our next mini boss to take out. The fight wasn't bad as soon as his meat shields broke loose. Hubert was my helper this time around, and he was so excited to be free that my man started breakdancing. The Bloodshot Stronghold was one of those mobbing areas that felt really hard for some reason. It may have just been the number of ironclad psychos and shield nomads, but I'm also just bad at the game. I also felt kinda bad for killing these two during a private moment.
Oh, yeah.
But everyone else had it coming, especially Mad Mike. The guy just wouldn't die, and the fact that his corrosive launcher did extra damage because of my shield wasn't helping. After a few tries, I realized that he wasn't even a mandatory fight and the door to the next area was open. So I decided that flushing him like the turd he was totally fair. After saving Roland from getting kidnapped, we had to save Roland from getting kidnapped, which means the Warden was our next target. If you decide to try this challenge, which, save file in the description if you want, it is imperative that you kill Warden before he goes to the gulag. Be patient, be smart, and don't worry, he doesn't have health regen. You need to kill him first try or it's pretty much over. My mistake here was going for the kill instead of taking out that surveyor. If I were to have killed Warden here, it would have saved me hours. But I didn't, and now it was time for pain. Gulag Warden may seem like the same fight, but it's actually harder. Usually shooting Warden in the eye will stop any construction it is doing, but in the Gulag, you actually get ultimate loaders moonshot at you as well. Meaning getting close enough to do damage without dying is pretty much impossible. It wasn't until I realized that the loaders put me on their casting couch that the dread set in. Like holy shit, I really looked like I was gonna cry here. I tried a multitude of different strats, resetting the map to get a jump on the Warden, running around the map and doing run-by shootings, looking for cheese spots, but nothing was working. I had a few options. I could be a baby and reset the mission with the save editor to retry the Bloodshot Dam fight, but the same thing could just happen again. I could be a man and reset the whole playthrough because that would be more legit, or I could be a true man and live with my mistakes. With that being said, the final strat was devised. Step 1, break loaders' kneecaps to slow them down. Step 2, eliminate most loaders to have only 4 on the field. Warden will only spawn up to a certain amount. Step 3, be smart and patient, and do damage when it is a safe option. Even with this strat, the fight was tough. There was an angelic guardian dual-wielding Vladov snipers that really messed me up, and I just wasn't able to kill it, so I just tried avoiding it. Eventually, the loaders got confused and stopped pursuing me for some reason, and I was able to slowly take out Warden from afar. I don't know why they stopped pursuing me right here. It's almost like Borderlands was meant to be played faster or something, and they just ran out of AI. Either way, I got really f***ing lucky right here. I really hope I never have to go to the Gulag again. Tundra Express was our next destination. The usual order of operations ensued there. Sing Campfire Song with Varkids, meet Mordecai, meet Tina, and try to grenade jump with the Midnight Star. Pretty basic stuff. I was a little overzealous and forgot to grab the damsels, so that was kinda cringe, but oh well. It was time to fight Wilhelm, and I was prepared for an intense battle. I planned to take him out in my first attempt.
It's a trap! The vault key's not on the train. Abort the mission, soldier!
Well, it. I really didn't know that the train could just delete you like that. Well, guess I'm adding that to the random Borderlands facts part of my brain. Anyway, the actual Wilhelm fight was a good fight. Wilhelm in particular is a pretty fair boss, which is ironic because everyone is so surprised when he dies. The best approach to dropping this guy when your gear is bad is to just keep your distance and kill off the loaders. After that, keep your eyes in the sky to see where the scatter missiles go, and always leave one surveyor for second wins. Any more than that, the shield regen gets to be counterproductive, and it also tricks him into making more, which sets up for easy crits. But most importantly, practice your train dodging before you go in and fight him. Do all that and he should go down relatively easy. After dooming Sanctuary and a not so quick run through the fridge, we were finally to the Highlands. My brain at this point was hyper focused for no damn reason, so I was zooming past loaders and constructors alike. This actually helped me learn a new strat though. Dealing with the tickle monster is way easier if it's distracted by loaders, so taking him out was relatively easy as well. Protecting the kidney stone it dropped was a completely different story. For those of you who are too good at the game to know, the beacon can only be destroyed 8 times before it just becomes invincible. I still attempt to protect the beacon in my challenge runs, but it is usually just a waiting game. After a few unfortunate deaths, the fast travel landed, and I made a break for it. Our reunion with the Sanctuary squad was short-lived, as Roland gave us the bad news. We had to go to the preserve. If you've seen my other runs, you know that nothing but pain resides here. Also, if you watch my other videos, there's a 97% chance you aren't subscribed. So if you like the vids, please consider hitting that sub button. It helps the channel a lot and really motivates me to make these videos. Anyway, back to the run. I needed to mentally prep for the preserve, and by mental prep, I mean shotgunning 3 monsters in the span of 2 minutes. This was the run where I finally figured out how wounding loaders worked. It's not severing body parts like I originally believed, but it's actually just dealing enough damage to them. Which sucks when they have health regen. It's all really weird. Dying while they're wounded though makes it so that the counter doesn't go down, so theoretically you can wound the same loader 3 times if you die. I don't know, all I know is that my blood was practically battery acid at this point, so I needed a physical health boost to counteract my mental health boost. The solution was simple. 3 monsters plus 2 grilled cheese equals 1 monster. Disclaimer time, I'm not a mathematician, nor am I a dietitian, but I do know that a lot of caffeine is not good for you, so please don't try this at home. Make sure you're at a hospital first. After slamming those sandwiches in under a minute and burning my mouth in the process, we plowed right through the rest of the preserve. It seemed as the preparation was working because I was punching pup skags into mist. The only real setback that made me mad was this jump. Like, I made the jump right here, but after having to come back through, I just couldn't hit it again. Dumb problems aside, it was time for the fight with my arch rival. Spoiler alert, it sucked. Psych! That bird, she got messed the f up. The main difference with this challenge opposed to my other ones was the ability to actually kill things. Yeah, I might be in fight for your life in order to spam my orphan maker, but at least I'm taking the heathens with me. Also, Cell's insight skill makes dodging Bloodwing actually possible sometimes. I managed to take out Bloodwing in only 3 tries. LilGasmask 1, Bloodwing 2. I still got bodied the last few challenges. After that victory, it was time to go find Mordecai's last remaining friend and then kill all of his friends. A combo of tough guys gave me some trouble, but I managed to glitch one out and it made things a lot easier. These guys often have Nova shields, so the key to giving them the sauce is to make sure you dodge the blast. After a few more little dudes, it was time to take on the final boss, Goliath Jackson. My mans was really moonwalking on me every time he had the chance. After a while, the smooth criminal met his fate. As for the secret ending boss, I decided we're gonna kill him Melee Sal style. Dual wielding rapiers gives us enough DPS to actually melee kill him, but that wasn't cool enough. We wanted to send him packing. Fighting loaders with Brick was actually pretty fun, mostly because he was a distraction and I got to punch an ion loader off a cliff. Fuck ion loaders. But our next task is where the run started to hurt again. Jack's body double was next on our hit list. If you watched me play live before, you probably have heard me call the heathens that run and hide cowards. The Jack double is the ultimate coward. His cowardice was so extreme that he ended up disappearing entirely, leaving me to reset the map. The strategy for taking him out was brute force and lack of patience, which worked. After an hour of attempts, with that show out of the way, we're on to the next one. The way to bunker is always hard, this time was no exception. I think jet loaders are moving up a tier on the most hated loaders tier list because they're the biggest cowards of them all. Fly away now! I also got bodied by this loot homie that didn't even drop anything. But the constructor was the real challenge. I was trying to kill this thing for a while. It was to the point where the beginning loaders started respawning and making it even harder. So I did what I do best. Find an obscure cheese strat for enemies that you should never have to cheese. The strat at hand? Constructor displacement. When this chunky dumpster is spawning, it likes to keep awkward eye contact with you, meaning you have a small amount of time to angle it to your liking. It's best to run up to the left of him so he's facing the door you need to open. This way, when he fires his missiles, they end up hitting the door before they can start tracking you, making for a much easier fight. The usually invincible baby turrets were only a minor annoyance this time around. After that, a wise man said wise words, I shotgunned another battery, watched the most awkward teabag of my life, cheesed the Omega dump truck, and started testing Face McShooty. At first, I wasn't sure what gun to use, but I decided to use the Orphan Maker. Reason being is I might redo a melee version of this challenge in the future, so the rapier can be tested at a later time. So basically, this took well over an hour. Early on, I found a strat that made it easier though. I would get my health really low so Inconceivable would proc more often, and spam shots until my shield was at its lowest before breaking. This was a bit risky though, and I ended up dying 3 times. Like, imagine dying to Face McShooty even once. Anyway, I finally landed a shot, and it was time to face Bunker's turrets. Irony came to play when the usually weak big turrets were the challenge, opposed to their baby man counterparts. The first 10 were fine, but this last one killed me several times. This turret wasn't slaggable for some reason. My guess is that glitch where slagging an enemy before they fully spawn makes them unslaggable. The most common example is slagging loot homies before they land on the ground. Or maybe I just had absolutely no luck, and 9% slag chance never came through. Honestly, both are believable. After a lot of patience, it finally died, and it was time to take on Bunker. The fight wasn't that intense if I'm gonna be real. Had a couple close calls, but the underside of the arena is super safe. Found a cool thing with ion loader domes where you can walk on the bottom side, but that's just random and not helpful. 35 minutes in, Bunker perished, and it was time for another shotgun. This time around, I tried to race with gravity. The goal was to finish the monster before Sal hit the bottom of the elevator. The result? Bad. The tap twisted on me. I couldn't open the top quickly enough. I feel like I could have had it, but now I gotta wait till the next challenge run. Angel Core was actually going great. I surprised myself when I was able to take out angelic guards for the first time, which made me believe this part was possible. After a good chunk of mobbing, the last injector was finally exposed, and it was invincible. No biggie, I'll just reset the map and... Oh. Okay, I guess the mobbing wasn't that bad. I'll just do it again and then destroy the... What the f***? Okay, I'll leave out the door so it doesn't reset the fight and... Oh, brother, come on! Wow, a third time. Who would have guessed? Alright, Calm Gas Mask is back. So this was actually a hard lock. I literally couldn't proceed. On the third attempt, I noticed that the injectors respawn for some reason. I don't know why, but I thought that this might mess up the game, so I tried a 4th time, and I did it under 25 minutes, which is the time it takes for mobs to respawn, and it still was busted. 3 whole hours of Angel Core, and 1 hour of troubleshooting gibbed to make the mission complete. We figured it out. Alright, with that covered, it is time to cover Sawtooth. I hated this too. The ambush commanders actually spawn camped me for a while, and I was having trouble getting shots on them. My most viable strat was to get up close and fight for your life and spam the Orphan Maker. This wasn't a guaranteed kill though. After getting tenderized like a steak for a while, I managed to kill 3 of 4 of them, and the last guy was glitched out of bounds. Oh great, more glitches. My favorite. I thought I had a simple fix. I really thought I could just reset the map on this one, which I did, and I only still had to kill 1. But 4 of them spawned, all at once. On the bright side, I only needed to kill 1. After that, a cowardice buzzard killed me, and I found a weird glitch where if you die in the elevator, you'll respawn on the elevator. It was kind of weird. After finally taking the buzzards out in one of my most grueling sawtooth runs, it was time for the final sprint. Every time I go to the boneyard, I rewire my brain for its prime directive. Locate valve, crank. Locate valve, crank. Locate valve, crank. After they were cranked, we telefragged the pipe and went to the Badlands. With the amount of mental deterioration these runs put me through, being able to turn my brain off for a bit helps, especially right before the big fight. It was also my birthday, so Alyssa made me baby plum cupcakes. Hashtag wholesome moment. Anyway, I usually run right past Saturn, but since I did that last time, and I really didn't want to deal with him firing at me, I decided we would kill him this time. Now I could have patiently killed Saturn with the Orphan Maker, but I really wasn't about that action. So I propped my Powerade bottle up on my mouse and killed Saturn while I bodied people in Smash Bros. Passive income, man. It will change your life. I bodied Saturn and Mr. Game & Watch practically at the same time. Killing Saturn made retrieving the data a lot easier. It was now time for the final stretch before Jack and the Warrior. Fighting the loaders with Claptrap went like most loader fights. I would kill a few, die, then repeat. This time around though, I was smart, and I baited out the super surveyors by severing their homies' limbs. I also found a couple of warloaders dabbing, and I wasn't about to let that amount of cringe exist in the same realm as me any longer. Like, bro, I'm already here. Quit trying to steal my spotlight. I somehow managed to get through this fight with relative ease, but a couple of bull loaders actually started rolling me. Yeah, I was really nailing this part of the Captain Blade cosplay. I would say bullet deflection, bad slag luck, and the weird double shot explosive thing these guys always have amounted to just the right amount of obnoxiousness. And my choice of gear played absolutely no factor in these fights whatsoever. After they were dealt with, the rest got a little easier. I might be a buffoon for thinking that the Midnight Star could get one kill before the run ends, but Mordo and Brick are true homies and backed me up. While Mordo was slagging the enemies, Brick and I were beating them to scrap metal.
Happy feet, wombo combo. That ain't Falco. That ain't Falco.
And after Mordo took out the turrets, the rest of the enemies became optional. The final fight with Jack was upon us, and like most of the runs so far, some weird cursed went down. What you're watching is a 40-minute fight sped up a whole lot. As you can see, his shield isn't really dropping. So when I eventually died, I needed a large refresher to keep me motivated. It was my birthday. I was gonna kill this. Shortly after the break, I thought of something. I didn't expect him to be so tanky. Can you spawn with different shields? What happens if the lava touch your no-no square? Hot balls. Oh, what the dude? What the Yeah, so I guess my man's had a turtle shield on or something stupid. I don't even know anymore. Even with his shield down, there was still a challenge at hand. His health regen far surpassed my ability to keep up with him and stay alive. It seems like I would run off to recover health and he would have the same idea, except he was better at it. Out of pure desperation not to lose the run this far in, I decided to make the playing field more suitable for the fight. I started punching loaders into the lava, not to kill them, just to get them out of the way, and shortly after Jack just stopped. Yeah, I'll play most of the kill right here. I'm not really sure why he did this. My guess was he probably realized it was my birthday and decided to give me the win, but it's likely that this fight was just being glitchy like it always is. Either way, I got the kill, and it was time for the true final boss. This time around, I decided to take him on from a different spot than usual, but the same shoot monster till he dies strategy was used. After a few fails by the hands of Crystalisks, the warrior assumed fate acceptance position. Or so I thought. He tried to pull one last trick on me, but luckily, I'm a very paranoid individual, so my guard was already up. Once his health bar was finally down to practically nothing, I seen my chance to get a kill with the Midnight Star. The final boss, taken out with the worst grenade ever created. All to finish off this treacherous sip. Nah, psych, it failed on me again. On top of that, I killed the warrior while left-handing the orphan maker. I decided that since I was in Fight for Your Life, the self-damage wouldn't have really did anything, so I let this one slide. The warrior dropped a terrible leech, and I finished Jack off with the obvious choice of weaponry. The proof is here. You can't beat Borderlands 2 as Captain Blade, even on your birthday. Alright, don't go yet. I got some bonus content for you guys. Really quick though, it'd be awesome if you guys subbed, liked, and commented on this video. It really helps with YouTube's algorithm, and I also love hearing what you guys have to say. My Twitch and Discord links are also in the description if you want to check those out. Alright, now let's shiver some timbers. The Pirate DLC plays a lot like normal Borderlands 2. You just get pirate shanties stuck in your head more often. Things started out a little rough, but after outplaying the last few Pirates action movie style, our first real test arrived. So No Beard always spawns with this corrosive stinkpot rifle, so we had to dance our way around this one. On the bright side, the guy's got no beard and 2 left feet, so taking him out was pretty easy. After talking to the most talented ventriloquist on Pandora and fending off a very angry Alfredo noodle, we finally had our first aircraft, sand skiff, which we properly flew into a bigger boat so that we could in return shoot the smaller boats. Whole lot of boatception. Upon meeting Scarlet, she said that we needed to put Sandman to sleep, so we were off to his lair. On the way there, we also dug up another rapier because I wanted to find all the treasures as a bonus challenge. I don't know why I added more challenges because Big Sleep and Sandman were actually pretty annoying to fight. Well, Sandman actually died like a baby man, but Big Sleep is just a dumb boss. Like most enemies I despise, Big Sleep has this undodgeable chain attack that can even hit through walls. On top of that, the guy can just hit the whoa out of nowhere and deflect my bullets that, may I remind you, already hurt to shoot. A little over a dozen deaths later, I had to bring out the special weapon, the gas mask. And before anyone asks, yes, this gear is also cursed. Whoever wears this thing becomes unbelievably sexy at the cost of undying masochistic urges. With my breath steadied, brain cleared, and on the 666 death mark, I noticed something. For some reason, Big Sleep completely whiffed his melee attack right here while I was standing on this crate. Being the large craniumed lad I am, I instantly knew what to do. A simple confusion strat was all it took to take on this heathen. Also, he dropped the 12-pounder, so that was pretty cool. After we dug up our Orphan Maker and Manly Man shield, we raided this Hyperion caravan. Nothing too eventful, just your average Sea of Thieves gameplay experience. Grabbing the auto idol was more significant than talking to Herbert, so I'll include that instead of him. But our next destination was Washburn Refinery, where even robots can be cowards. There was a group of 2 super loaders that took about 20 minutes to kill, and then there was Hurley, who took 2 minutes to kill. Gearbox did my boy Hurley pretty bold when it comes to balancing. The main attack that makes him unique does 4 damage. On top of that, you can blow his arms off, making him the easiest boss in the game. With all 4 parts of the compass found and or jerry-rigged, it was time to set off to the lighthouse. Here we found the last treasure we needed, the Midnight Star. Way to save the best for last, am I right? Surprise, surprise, Scarlet betrayed me and sent her biggest cowards after me. They really said, I'm about to head out as soon as I needed a revive. Nothing too hard, but the lieutenants did mess me up quite a bit before I managed to take them out. We somehow photobombed our own POV of getting eaten and fought Roscoe the Rat Hive. Thinking about it now, the Leviathan has some type of turducken situation going on. Like for real, you have the rack inside of the Rack Hive, and then the Rack Hive inside the Leviathan? I don't know, I'm probably thinking too deep into this. Anyway, Roscoe was a bigger baby than Sandman, both figuratively and literally, so he died in like 40 seconds. The Leviathan, though, was a whole different story. At first I was bombarded by sandworms and their deadly corrosive spit, but then after I respawned, they just disappeared. I don't know why, but it was just 10 minutes of dodging rocks and shooting his eyes and heart. After that was done, a whole wave of worms popped up, and I just took them out from a safe spot. It was a very slow process, mostly because when they go underground, they remove any slag applied to them. And, you know, the whole 9% slag, yeah, you get it. After all that, I had to fight not 1, but 2 sandworm queens before the Leviathan showed its neck. It would have been so simple. I just had to kill the last weak spot. But I left-handed. I had no excuse this time. It was tempting to let it slide, but I had to do what was right. Resetting the fight was the only option. So I did this 20-minute fight about 3 times before the Leviathan finally perished. Which means you can beat Captain Scarlet and her pirate's booty as Captain Blade. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up the video and the bonus content. I just want to thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, breathe easy, homies. With Tiny Tina's Wonderlands coming out soon, I thought it would be fun to do a theme challenge to build up a little hype for the game. I ran the idea by you guys, and a majority of you wanted to see it. So here we are with today's challenge. Can you beat Borderlands 2 with only the power of friendship? In this challenge, we will be utilizing the Mysterious Amulet from the Tina DLC and the Unicorn Explosion Shotgun from the Lilith DLC. Before I show you the rest of the build, I'm going to throw the rules at you real quick. First off, we will be playing on OP10 as always. Second, we will be playing as Krieg and require a few specific skills to add to the challenge. More on that in a second. No bar, and most importantly, you gotta bring the homies. Now that everyone's been introduced, let's go over the rest of the skills and gear. We were all repping the Legendary Reaper class mod for that sweet, sweet Bloodbath boost, and to make kill skills last almost 5 times as long. We also have a basic shield and slag grenade just to balance things out. As for those required skills I was talking about, Fuel the Rampage is required so that team damage is something we have to consider, and Redeem the Soul because real homies would risk it all for each other. The rest of the build is centered around mostly bloodbath and explosive damage with very little melee boosts. I tried to balance it out so melee was somewhat viable, but not our main source of damage. And we also have one unspent skill point for a little trick you guys will see later in the run. Right off the bat, I taught everybody about the build we were working with. Basic stuff like how to heal, don't shoot your homies, try to proc bloodbath when you can, etc. You guys might also notice that we're all leaving glitter trails everywhere we go. And that's thanks to the Mysterious Amulet. The more people wearing one, the more intense the sparkles get. Often throughout the playthrough, we end up crop dusting each other with these sparkles. Our guns even make fart noises to really add to the immersion. We charged into our first battle not knowing how it would go. We were all still learning how to handle this challenge, and some of us even learned the hard way. I tried to go in for some melee attacks during Buzzak's Rampage and got totally decimated by friendly fire damage. We quickly learned to call out melee targets so that we could coordinate better. Like I said before, melee isn't the main damage source for this run, and it's barely viable. But on the other hand, I'd be lying if I said it's absolutely useless. For example, the benefit of getting a kill in Buzzak's Rampage is that you get a ton of Bloodlust stacks per kill, which is useful because getting stacks is hard with our current build. These stacks are what make Bloodbath so potent, and also help with mag size, reload speed, etc. And be real with you guys, the beginning fight really fried my brain. Like right here, I just shoot my homies for no reason. I didn't even notice this until editing, so sorry, Queen Knight. Well, the fight only resulted in 2 deaths, so that wasn't too bad. We were off to fight Boom Boom, or at least that's where we thought we were going. It's really hard to see anything in combat. The general rule of thumb is to shoot when you see your health bar or your reticle is red, and just hope you hit something. We weren't that coordinated at first, so this small bandit camp took a while. Eventually, we strategized amongst ourselves and all of us focused fire on the same baddies. Also, just as an FYI, from here on out, the death counter is going to be inaccurate. I just couldn't keep track of everything going on, so this one's my bad. And by inaccurate, I mean sometimes I just held the button down when I was dying, so it went up by like hundreds. Just ignore it. The plan for Boom Boom was simple. I would run in and lure Boom to the elevator first, and we would deal with him there. However, our grenade supplies were low, and we had already looted all the chests around. Buying more grenades wasn't quite an option yet because we were still broke since we had just started, so we had to devise a new plan. If one of us would run out of ammo, we would hop in and try to deal what damage we could while also trying to block him from running away. After we fought our best and did what we could, we would die for the homies, leaving a slag grenade behind from pull to pin. After brute forcing it with this strat for a while, we got the kill. As for Boom, we had a plan for him as well. Step 1 was for me to run up and jump on his turret and make him focus on me, while Lucas would be close by on psycho duty and helping with revives when possible. And Tom and Queenite were far off, sending stampede after stampede of shots at the turret. I used some of the grenades Boom dropped to slag him, and after 3-ish minutes, the bloodbath kicked in and the last third of his health got decimated. A couple of close calls and insta-bleed outs later, we managed to get more bloodbath from psycho kills and good slag luck to take him out. After that, I noticed that the door was taking damage, so we thought it'd be funny to kill it without the turret. But...
Oh no.
Wait. Oh no.
Yeah, we soft-locked the game. But on the bright side, Boom Boom didn't spawn again, so it was a simple fix. The path to Flint was open, and it was time to make it to the top. A pre-game huddle decided that we would run past the first bit of enemies, which wasn't the easiest, so we made Tom our designated checkpoint grabber, while the rest of us made sure that no one was left behind. Homies never leave each other behind. Even if they fall into deadly hypothermia-inducing frigid cold ice water, we have to go for them. It's not an option. So when Queenite fell in, I had to think quick. The plan was to just chain revives back and forth and gain as much distance as we could before hypothermia kicked in. This wasn't Borderlands 2 anymore. It was saving Private Queenite. We all died to save her, and she was almost back to safety. The best we could do from here was cheer her on from the sidelines as she ran back to the mainland. A couple of lads even seen us use the power of friendship and decided to join the cause.
Oh, there's psychos around us?
No, they're homies. They're homies.
Oh.
After a bit more mobbing, well, I think I was mobbing. It was kind of hard to see, like, anything at all. Anyway, we made it to the Flint fight. Before we jumped in, we devised a plan. One of us would lure Flint over towards our safe area, and 3 of us will attempt to deal as much damage as possible, while Queenite will be our designated medic that we can crawl to. Everything was going according to plan, and Flint looked like he was about beat, but we rushed in too soon and ruined everything. We all started dying, Flint kept healing and healing and healing. After about 20 minutes, we got our bearings together, and in an epic final stand, we managed to end his reign of terror. Finally, at 3 Horns, our next objective was to situate a car. There wasn't really any mandatory combat for this part, but these bullymongs were straight up relentless. We may have died, but on the bright side, our cars were straight up ballin'. That's right, everything is rainbow around here, even our exhaust fumes were glitter. You know what they say, if you're gonna pollute the planet, at least make it aesthetic. Corporal Reese was in some trouble, and since this challenge is all about friendship, the least we could do is go and save it. Oh, he's dead. Well, in that case, let's just make sure to kill the 20 bandits for him. Finally, Sanctuary, where all the homies are at. Speaking of homies, PK Lucas has a message for the YouTube squad. He also wanted me to show you guys this graph. We are up 8% from the last video, which is super awesome. If you have watched any amount of my videos and are enjoying the content, you might as well sub. And if you're already subbed, good job, I'm proud of you. Anyway, back to gaming. Speedrun Canyon had its usual start. I was thinking I was going to smoke everybody in this race, but Tom straight up teleported to the end, precisely why he was designated checkpoint grabber. We had a little bit of trouble on the way when Queenite decided that she didn't want to walk anymore and tried to have a psycho carrier. Don't worry though guys, she's fine. Watching her attempt at taming a wild animal gave me an idea. And right then, we devised a new strategy. I call it res running. This strat utilizes fight for your life riding mechanics and redeem the soul's insta-revive to make for an easy medic evac. To perform this when your friend is down, first call out that you're going to res them and tell them to get ready to run. Then jump above them and press the revive button, thus landing on their head and letting them run you guys to safety. If their redeem the soul isn't active, they can also revive you as you're running. The power of friendship and teamwork is a great thing. Our first non-homie NPC arrived to ruin our day. Honestly, Lilith wouldn't have been that bad if her phase blast didn't hurt us. Whatever, we can camp out on the bridge where she can't get us and deal with the 3